Hello, this is Jamie Magrich. Welcome to Jamie's Craft Table. Today I'm going to show you how I made this card. Let's get started. I'm going to be using, let's go over these last. Quiet Meadow, I'm using this stamp here, these two little flowers, and the sentiment. I'm going to be using Cane Weave 3D embossing folder. I've already done that just to save a little bit of time. I am using the full basket dies. I'm using all the foliage out of it. Okay, and I've already cut those out as well. And then I'm using the Stylish Shapes dies. I'm using these two out of the squares. Okay, I'm going to be using Memento and Polished Pink inks. I have a scrap of Evening Evergreen. This is about let's say 2 by 3 3/4 or 3 1/2. Basically, you could get all of them out of this piece, but I just had 2 scraps here, so that's what I've used. I have a scrap of white to stamp the flower on. I have a 3 1/2 by 4 1/4 inch piece of white, a 4 by 5 1/4 inch piece of soft suede. You could probably stamp the flower on the piece you're going to cut out of there. That would work fine. I have a 4 1/8 by 5 3/8 inch piece of polished pink. And then my card base, 5 1/2 by 8 1/2, scored and folded at 4 1/4. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do, let's move these aside. Oops, scrap paper. I'm also going to be using these glossy dot assortment, few dimensionals. Okay, so let's start with this piece. I'm going to bring in my die cutting machine. Actually, I think I'll just do it off camera. And I'm going to take this die, which is the largest of the squares, and I'm going to center it up so that the spacing from the top and these two sides is about the same. Okay, let's go ahead and use this to tape it in place. I'm going to go run that through my machine. Okay, so it comes out like this. This piece is extra. Now I could have waited and ran it through my embossing folder after I cut it out, which probably would have been better because then it wouldn't smash all the embossing, but it works anyway. Okay, then I'm going to take the next size down. I'm going to do the same thing on this white piece. I'm going to line up so those edges are about the same. It doesn't have to be exactly the same because it's going behind. And then I'm going to go ahead and cut those out. Okay, so we can save that for another project. Okay, now out of the green, I've cut this larger leaf once, these 4 smaller leaves once, and each one of the, like the ferny type, I think it's evergreen, once. Okay, now let's bring in our scratch paper. Let's bring in a mat to stamp on. We're going to stamp the flower on the scrap paper, or you can use this one. That'll work too. Fortunately, there's not a die for this stamp, so we will have to fussy cut it. Ink that up well. You can do it this way, that's probably smarter. Okay. Now I'm going to color this with a few blends. I've got the Flirty Flamingo. I have the dark Daffodil Delight and a light pumpkin pie. So I'm going to just take the dark one. I'm going to put a little bit of dark down here at the bottom, a little bit where those detail lines are on the stamp. That the artist drew in there. Sorry about the noise, guys. I live in the city, so fortunately it's a very common thing. Hear those sirens going. Okay, and I'm going to come in with the light. I'm going to blend it all out. So we've got the squeakies. I think this one's getting close to being out of ink because it's starting to squeak, and the tip is a little bit white, so I might have to replace that one. And I'm going to come in with the Daffodil Delight and do the center. Oh, this one's a little darker, huh? That's all right. A tiny bit of the pumpkin pie. I'm going to use the small end for that. Just going to add a little bit of pumpkin pie in the, like in a C shape there, just to add a little detail. And then this is going to need to be cut out. Fussy cut. And you'll see I don't have it all the way to the whoops, oh, to the camera, all the way to the end. It's fine. I'm just going to leave a little bit of a white space around the edge. Try to turn the paper, not scissor the scissors too much. The least amount of scissor action, the more smoother your cut will be. So each time you open and close the scissors, you're offering a chance to have a rough edge or a rough spot. I'm not great at fussy cutting. I don't really even enjoy it, but sometimes it's necessary. Okay, there's those. Now let's bring in this pink one. And we're going to bring in this stamp here and the polished pink ink. And we are going to, well, first off, make sure your writing's going the right way. And we're going to just stamp this across this a couple times. That's probably all we need, because if we put this over the top, you're going to see that only a little bit of it's going to show. Okay, and then let's bring in this little one with the two little flowers I've mounted on one stamped together, and the sentiment. And I'm going to just lay this one over the top so I can get an idea of where I need to stamp it. Line it up in this corner up here. It's close. Okay, and then I'm going to stamp a couple of these little flowers. Let's do a couple right here. And I just want the one little one. Do one of those up here. Okay. Now, I think we've got all of our pieces and we can put this card together. Okay, so I'm going to glue this piece to the back of this one. I use the wet glue for that. And you want to stay away from the edge because you're going to have that 1/4 inch space. See how there's the 1/4 inch showing there? So you don't want to get your glue in that. For some reason my glue bottle won't stay open. Come on, glue. Get one to work. I don't have patience today for that. There we go. That's the way it's supposed to work. Okay, I'm going to bring this one in. And I want to make sure that the spacing is even all the way around the window. Looks pretty good. Okay, now I'm going to put dimensionals on the back of this. I think I got them out. What did I do with them? There we are. Use quite a few dimensionals because I don't like it to be saggy. Okay, then let's take the backs off of those. Both these colors, polished pink and soft suede, are retiring. So I wanted to use as much as I can. There's just a tiny little bit of border around the polished pink. Okay. And this will get mounted to the front of the card. I'm not having very good luck with my glue today. I haven't used it in a week or so, so that's probably why. What on earth is going on here? Can't get any of them to work. I don't know why. There we go. Well, get out the seal. I don't particularly like the seal. Make sure it's right side up, centered on the front of the card. Okay, now I'm going to bring in our leaves. We want to play with where we want to put things, so we're going to put one of those there. We're going to put one of these down here, one of these up here, this other long one up there. I think we want to put them this way. And then we're going to put one large leaf here. I'm going to curl these just a little bit like that. One of those will go there. One of those will go there. And the little ones, same thing. Just going to add a couple little leaves. Okay. We're going to get our flower. We're going to put some dimensionals on the back of it. Take those backs off. You probably could get away with one or two, but it helps hold all those little pieces on too. Figure out which way you want it. Very lightly set it down. See if you can pick up all those little pieces. Okay, so anything that's not stuck, we're going to have to go back and add a little bit of glue to. I normally don't have this trouble with my glue. I do not know what's going on with it. Take a pin, see if we can get the glue out unstuck from it. There we go. Now it should be coming out good. Much better. So I'm just going to use this to dab in. That one's stuck. That one's stuck. These two aren't. There you go. There's the card. Oh, we didn't finish it. Let's add some of these. Let's add one of each size. So we'll add a big one down here. The middle one will go up in here. And then a small one. There you go. Well, thank you for joining me today at Jamie's Craft Table. I hope you have a great rest of your day. And I hope you can find a little bit of time to play with some stamps, ink, and paper. Have a great day, everybody.